Hi guys, welcome to the Diamond District. So today I wanted to introduce this concept of running and gunning, or just doing a run and gun. Now, anyone who's familiar with sports, they kind of already know what that means, but if you're not, it's essentially moving forward or moving in motion while also simultaneously hitting your targets. Now, this is very, very important when you are in the process of changing who you are or heading towards like your goal, your destination, whether that destination is a brand new reality or that destination is a brand new persona. Both aspects are very, very important. So for starters, in order for you to see any type of results in life, in any capacity, it requires you to execute. There are no other tangible things. Honestly, there's nothing else more important than execution. Everything else is more of, to a certain degree, mental masturbation. You know, the affirmations and all these other things, they're incredibly helpful, but at the end of the day, execution is the only thing that you're going to be judged on. Execution is the only thing that you can see, that other people can see, and it is the one tangible thing that can consistently tell you this is where you are, and this is who you are, and this is likely who you're going to be, depending on if you accept it or not. So execution is the tangible results, and in order for you to truly enjoy any type of change, you're essentially seeking tangible results. So in order for you to get that, it's going to require execution, consistent daily execution on all tasks. All daily tasks every single day consistently. There's literally no other formula to success but that. Now, in the process of your execution, aka your run, you may end up in a situation where you find yourself not really executing the way you wish you were, because the distance between who you were and who you're going to be is so far apart that the in-between persona, going from the old persona to the new persona, is going to feel incredibly awkward. And you're going to run into things that is going to make you question, like, damn, why am I behaving this way? Like, why am I not on point? Why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing that? So you're going to come across these, I would almost call them identity challenges or persona challenges, where who you were and who you're trying to be, they're pushing back or they're pulling back from each other, which causes a lot of internal friction. Now, it's important for you to understand why these things are occurring, but what you don't want is for your attention to be diverted from the goal to the problem. So it's almost like the reality of driving a Formula One race car, right? Wherever your attention goes is where you're going to go. So if you are no longer focused on your goal and you're focused on the problem, then that's exactly where you're going to go. You're so focused on the problem that you're now in the problem. You're not focused on a solution. You're so focused on the why, you completely lose sight of why it doesn't even matter in the first place. You see, one of the most important things you have to understand is that who you were in the past does not matter. Because if you play the amnesia game, right, you don't remember what happened in the past, the only thing you have to go on for who you are is the present, today. So every day you get to decide who you are and who you're going to be tomorrow. And you get to repeat that process every single day, because yesterday doesn't matter. And if you don't even remember yesterday, you don't remember who you used to be, then none of the things that you find to be crippling or some type of emotional obstacle even matters. Because the moment they're out of your mind, they stop existing. So if who you think you were can be forgotten, then whatever problem you have with yourself is really not that big of a deal. And here comes the shooting part. So in the process of you running, you are executing, and you kind of trip up. And you're wondering what that issue is about. Don't focus so much on the problem. continue focusing on their journey, and because in doing so, you're going to solve that problem. Let me put this in a different way. By taking the time to stop and address these internal issues, these internal dialogues, you are taking the momentum away from yourself and focusing on something that technically no longer exists. And you're making it exist in present time by feeding into it. You know, I like to think of this concept of the why echo chamber, like, why am I doing this and why am I doing that? And in reality, the why is irrelevant. What really matters is, what are you going to do about it? And that's really what is the biggest thing when it comes to life. It's not so much why is this happening to me, it's more so what are you going to do about it? Because if you're so focused on the reasoning of things, you're going to get completely lost in the sauce. There's a story in the Bible about an individual named Job who, I don't really want to recount the entire story, but he went through a multitude of situations where his blessings were taken away and he got put all the way down into the dumps, only for his blessings to come back and then be multiplied more than before. And one of the biggest criticisms of the story was kind of like, well, what was the point? What was the point of that? What was the point for that? You know, he didn't have to go through that process in order for him to learn whatever lesson he needed to learn. And even with him doing so, going through that entire process, his conclusion was like, I will never truly understand the designs and mechanisms and the logic of God. It's just above me. What that is essentially saying is that the why, whether you get it or not, is not important. It's how are you going to handle the situation when it comes? How are you going to handle and respond to the situation when it is happening present moment? And the best way for you to handle it is to keep your eye on the goal and keep moving forward. Because whatever the issue, obstacle, internal, external, whatever it is, that shit is not that important. It's not that important. It usually isn't, especially if it's internal, because it's something that you somehow emotionally made up or somebody else imprinted into you psychologically or emotionally. You can overcome all things, externally and internally. The human mind is a treasure trove of impossible feats. And all you have to do is believe that you can do it, and you can do it. That's all.